What's going on, guys? This is Rev Team Arsenal. I'm back with another video. Actually, we're back on the mat today as I'll be showcasing you guys my choice for the Clubhouse Regional this past weekend, where unfortunately we did not top, coming to one win short of top 48. But as you can see, it's a little different. You can see by the little stack right here. Before we get into it, huge shout out to everybody who voted on this video. I was shaking whether I wanted to post this one or not, because like I said, we didn't get the invite, so it's not necessarily the craziest thing in the world. But I thought it was something pretty saucy and pretty spicy, and I also wanted to cover my matchups and what I went through and what I learned and experienced going to said regional. Also, as always, remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about us, etc. Huge shout outs to Carry Choice, Big Rel, etc. People who helped me work with the deck and theorize with me and test and stuff like that. Without further ado, we'll get right into it, starting off with our matchups. Round one, we played against Exo Sisters. I'm still not too surprised by this one, when we have Unchained in the format, tier limits, etc. But it was easier 2-0 for us. Despite most of our cards, like our main deck, hand traps, choices, stuff like that, were not the strongest against this deck, but ended up working out in the end because inconsistency with that deck, as well as all you have to do is know to stop them at their crucial points such as Martha, Caspatel, etc. And then basically you just win the matchup from there. So that one was an easy 2-0. We start off with 1-0. Round two, we went against Dinos. This one kind of did not expect, but Dinos is always around, and especially with the new support via the, I forgot the name of these cards, like Exos, Zeos, whatever they're called. This was a very difficult matchup. One, hand traps that did nothing to this deck, on top of the fact of literally, the best I can do is pray to God for a board wipe, like that, because when they have miscellaneous swords, which is like, searchable through Fossil Dig, etc., it's kind of hard to beat the deck. We end up actually going into game 3, but unfortunately we just didn't have enough gas to break through a UTC, their new rank 6, Logia, Abyss Dweller, etc., which is like, well, I guess we just lose this one, so we end up going to X1. Moving on to round 3, this was another Exo Sister matchup. I don't know what the deal was with these decks and me, but it basically felt free. I'm gonna be honest, nothing against the deck or the players, anything like that, because I played the deck myself before. Just in the matchup against me, unless you get D-Shifter, it's like, it's all right. Because most of the matchups, most of the time when I was dealing with the Exo Sister matchups, is basically just Ash, Infinite Permanence, and Adventure Package. And it was like, well, I guess we win from here. Actually, in this matchup, it was even crazier when he was actually able to set up his Magnifica. I think that's the one they overlay on top of the rank 6, the boss monster. He was able to Magnifica, actually be able to get it out, use effects, go for Vadis, and he actually had both traps on top of that to begin with. We actually just had Thrust, Regeki most of the board away, and then when you try to use another monster effect, he literally just triple tactics talents, took the Magnifica, swung for 56, as he already was at, like, I believe he paid 8. I think 3 times, because he did both of the trap cards, the Vadis and the Returnia, on top of doing the Searcher, which I think is Pax. So he was already low on life points. So basically just took his monster, used the Adventure Package to basically break the board and just go for game from there. So that one was another 2-0. So now we're on, I believe, X1, 2-1. So round 4, this one was kind of controversial for me. I say that because I kind of lost my cool with the fact of, before we got into round 4, we were told we had a 30-minute break to go get some food. They said there'd be a little bit more forgiving because of the situation. I did not understand what the situation was once people informed me that the venue that we were actually at is very large for starters. And then we have the dueling and everything we're doing regional on the far left side of the building, and all the food in the food court is on the far right side of the building. And keep in mind, this is Sunday, so we barely have any food courts open or anything like that. And we don't know this because we're not from Ohio. So we rush over to try to get our food. It's a huge long line. By the time we all get back, most of us have either game 1 losses or match losses, depending on how nice our opponent was. Luckily for me, I had a game 1 loss, but I was not really happy about it because you basically just, cost a lot of people who are X1 their chance at the top, because, we only play them 9 rounds, and usually X2 is the mark to get in. So that kind of sucked, but despite all that, we still ended up winning that one 2-1. Bishio's Ash and Perm against Chimera Branded is pretty solid. And then when we had the Hero of the Abyss for the Dragoon, he actually played it against us both times. Hero of the Abyss, get rid of the monster, Shark Cannon, bring it back, and he couldn't out his own Dragoon, so we basically just won from there. So moving on to X1 despite the game 1 loss. Round 5 brought amongst us Pure Sprite. Honestly, it was a pretty easier matchup because, like I said, I've played this deck multiple times before. I even played it at multiple locals and everything like that. This is something that I actually should know hands down. But I ended up losing to myself and so effective. I misplayed heavily in game 3 when we were already going into time. I was more so focused on making my board and hurrying past him, not realizing that, yeah, we only had like 2 minutes left because I was looking, the clock was behind me and I was not even focusing on it. I should have actually been able to set up a kind of gain some life points, set up a board from there, and just go from there. But unfortunately, I hurried up and made my board, everything, passed back to him. He tried to play through with his 6 cards he had in hand. He just wasn't able to get through. When he finally got a Fury on the board, tried to go into battle phase, it was already too late because now we both ended up with a draw. So we ended up going X1-1 through 5 rounds. Round 6 was another one on me. We were playing against Cash Tier. This is a matchup the actual deck is built and prepared for along with Unchained, so it shouldn't have been as much of a problem as it was, but it was more so a misplay on my part. We ended up getting to game 3, but that's where the misplay began. Again, we went first. As you see by our side deck and everything, that we're totally prepared for this matchup, totally prepared to go first. Again, we were more concerned about hurrying past to him so we can get our turn back and actually get into the swing. Well, I totally forgot that I have a kind of in my extra deck to actually prepare for these moments. Because before I went to actual regionals, I actually was hard set on playing 3 Hayate. I at the last minute changed it from 3 Hayate to 2 Hayate and 1 Kaina, which then I didn't even think about having it in my extra deck and actually playing it out and realizing that, oh, I could have gained life or something like that. But it ended up not mattering, and he played through a Bestial, played through DD Crow, played through Infinite Impermanence just to set up Sprite Sprint, dumping, Scattershot for game. So that one was a really heartbreaker, but it was more so, like I said, I feel like it was on me because I could have played that a whole lot better. Round 7 was by far the weirdest of them all. We ended up playing against Generators, which I feel like was, how did you even get here? But then I realized I'm technically X2-1, so I mean, anything could be at this point. But this one was actually an easy, clean sweep. Just really board break, go for game. You set the same board every single time, and it doesn't feel good to do that to somebody, but it's like, going into round 8, we finally got a meta matchup other than Cash Tier. We went against Unchained. We learned a lot in this matchup, like I said, as far as rulings, timing, chaining effects, etc. Especially when there was the interaction between Unchained Unchained Abomination versus Sky Striker Ace Shizuku in end phase, where they're not in the same chain. They're more so ignition effects, not trigger effects. And this is where I'm like, my practicing and actually learning and researching the game actually comes into play here, because I totally am not really good with the terminology of the game. That's more so with my friends and everybody around me. I admit to that, and it actually ended up almost costing me that game, but we ended up actually working it out and actually OTKing up for game for that one. But the issue came in game 3, where again, we were in a time situation and we had the game right there in our hands and we threw it. I don't remember the exact boards, but I ended up breaking his board. I was going second. We ended up with Hayate plus the Link 3 Unchained Monster we took from him. He had Arika and his Shivaro on board, and I had Infinite Impermanence. There can only be 1 in hand. Instead of me just simply going in for the damage, because I was totally not aware of the time we had, because we already had 10-minute extension. I just assumed we had more time than what we really did. It's again me not checking the clock and asking for time. That's on me. Where I could actually just simply went in for the damage, and we could at least set on there can only be 1 in Infinite Impermanence and passed. Instead, we tried to get super duper uber aggressive. Go for Axis Code Talker after trying to take his monster with the Anguish, and he dodged that. Ended up getting our Axis Code Talker popped via Abominable Unchained Soul, which I didn't have him on because it's literally like, it's been 40 plus minutes. I have not seen a card come from you at all. So I'm assuming you're just not playing it. I play into the card heavily. My Axis Code Talker gets popped. I end up forced to set a, there can be 1 Infinite Impermanence. I end up just costing me the game, and I end up losing off of that. So that one kind of sucked, and I kind of was defeated by then because at that point, I already knew I wasn't topping. In the final round, we played against, I think it was Live Twin Runic Sprite, which I really hate that deck, by the way. For some reason, IRL, in person, and online, I just cannot handle that deck for some reason. I just always play bad against that deck, but we somehow got the win on this one, and we ended up winning that one pretty handily. Again, this is where the Bestials, the DD Crows, the Ashes, and Imperms come in handy. And the board breaking ability of the Adventure Package, which, man, I had a whole story on that. So we ended up winning that round, ended up finishing 5-3-1, which unfortunately was not enough to get to the top. I'm gonna go more so in detail as far as my takeaways and where I could have done and played better later on in the video, but we already took too much time on this. We're gonna get right into the deck profile now. So we'll start off doing something a little differently here. We won't be going by monsters, spells, and traps like we usually do. We're gonna stay going by packages because this actually is a 60 card deck. So we'll start off with the Sky Striker package here. So start off with the monsters. We played triple Sky Striker Ace Ray and one Sky Striker Ace Rose. Standard lineup for Sky Strikers. Even in this version, I do not feel the need to play more than Rose, and it never came up. This is simply there for like an OTK, a fourth Ray, if you will, if you needed one. A little extender sometimes. That was it. It was mainly just we needed the 3 Ray. Mandatory in this deck. Nothing much more to say about that. Still want to change the ratios even after that. Maybe I might play a second Rose, but there's so many other cards I could play. Probably still won't do it. Moving on to the spells, we're playing triple Widowmaker, the second best Sky Striker spell in the deck and in the game besides Engage. Triple Linkage. There were times I was battling back and forth by playing less of this, but there are some times where I get to a board where it's like I have Bestials on the board, I have the Adventure Package on the board, everything but Sky Striker cards. This helps me get into a Sky Striker monster and just basically go from there. So this is fine for what it is right now. I might tutor around playing 2 or 3, but right now the 3 just feels safe. And then we're playing Double Engage. We'll play more if I could. Easily the best card in this not in this deck, but in the game, in my opinion. A card that says literally, I search any card I want that's Sky Striker based, and then I draw a card that's pretty good. And then the rest of our Sky Striker spells are just basically utility, with the 1 Afterburners, the War on Hornet Jones, the 1 Shark Cannon, and the 1 multi-roll. Basically, the way of thinking is we're already playing Raigeki Darkhole and Harpy's Featherduster in the main. So I just want to have a simple 1-for-1 where I can literally just pop a monster, and then if my opponent's not aware of how Sky Striker cards, especially Afterburners, work, get a free pop of a back row, which came up a lot because a lot of people didn't read this card for some reason. So I'm like, yeah, target your monster, attempt to pop the monster. That's good. Okay, cool. Pop the back row too. No, you can't change this. It's all on the same effect, big fella. Yeah, you gotta read the card. 3 or more spells, I get to pop a monster and pop a spell or trap. And then, like I said, for Afterburners, it's just literally a one card Dark Charmer. And then the fact of it's really just a pseudo Ray. I mean, it's not the greatest card. I mean, it's at 1 not because the Sky Striker's at 1 because the rest of you guys are playing it. So yeah. 1 Shark Cannon. I was thinking about playing more than one of this, but I'm already playing 3 DD Crows, 3 Bestials. I'm also playing Call by the Grave. So I just feel like the 1 searchable one is fine. Came up clutch, like I said, in the Brandon matchup where I was able to take his Dragoon over and over and over again, so that was pretty neat. And then we played the 1 multi-roll. It's basically for us to establish our boards when we have broken a board, we have access to our Sky Striker plays and Sky Striker cards. We literally just keep reusing our cards over and over again and basically just set up a way to gain advantage and control the board from there. So the way I see it is basically, instead of me only playing like, I believe like 11 Sky Striker spells, I'm actually playing 22 because I get a second use out of all of them via the multi-roll. So that's why we only play the 1 of. No reason to play the field spell because like a 60 card deck, the odds of you hitting the Sky Striker cards are very slim to begin with. And then in the multi-roll plus Area 0 play is kind of dead in the sense because like the odds you see in both of them are very slim. So it never came up, so I'm totally fine with not having it. Then moving on to our next package, which is the Adventure Package, which was godly today, just breaking boards and OTKs, etc. This is the main reason I played 60 card build. If I was not playing this, I would not play 60 cards. I just put it that way. So we're playing for the monsters, triple Water Enchantress. Shouldn't I explain this? And then we're playing 1 Illegal Knight and 1 Wonder Griffin Rider. I played Illegal Knight because like the Wonder Griffin just for me to establish my board or protect myself when I'm trying to go for game. The Illegal Knight is more so the break board, especially against Unchained. It came in really clutch in most of my matchups, especially against Exorcisters, etc., where I'm not trying to destroy your cards. I'm literally trying to bounce them back to your hand, put it on your side of the field, and then Draco back, bounce it back to my hand. Also was a great extender sometimes too. It's also a bridge with Small World that gets you into your either your water trenches or get you into your Ray, which made it even more viable. And then we're also playing triple Rite of Amercyr. Shouldn't have to explain this. It's an adventure package. And then 1 Draco back and 1 Faithful Adventure. I was thinking about playing 2 Faithful Adventure, but I was too concerned about what if I brick on this. And honestly, it never came up. Yeah, a couple people got rid of the Faithful Adventure, but it was fine at that point because I was just trying to break your board. And once I broke your board and you got rid of Faithful Adventure, that's fine. At this point, it's just an extender. So it was fine. But this package was really, really good. Shout out to Big Red for letting me borrow it. Honestly, like I said, I'm most likely gonna play this build again, and the adventure package has to be there. And if I don't play the adventure package, it's gonna be a 40 card build, honestly. Now moving on to the extenders in the deck. Starting off with the Souls package, we're playing double Illusion of Chaos, double Souls, and 1 Preparation of Rites. There's a lot I can say about this package. It's pretty clutch. Helps me when I gotta get through hands that literally just have multiple of the same card. It's like double Rite, or maybe having the Raigeki and Dark Hole in my hand when I don't need them at that time. Just get rid of them, draw 2 more cards, and keep recycling. And I was originally gonna play 1, 1, and 1 of these, but I ended up playing multiples of these because these actually help me also, like I said with the Illegal Knight, the Illusion of Chaos and Souls also have bridges where they can actually get into your Water Enchantress and your Ray. So that's why I play multiple of these. Like one of each of them is basically for sometimes it's the Small World package, and Small World plays, and then other times it's just literally just an extender, a way to get your stuff going as far as your adventure package and everything like that. So yeah. And then for the rest of the extenders, the spell extenders, we're playing triple Small World, double Pot of Desires, 1 Foolish Burial, and 1 Rhoda. I'm trying to explain the Rhoda or the Foolish Burial. These are just basically a pseudo Water Enchantress and pseudo Ray. Pot of Desires, I wanted to play a draw card here just in case I got a couple bricky hands, which this card did actually come in clutch sometimes. So I wouldn't take it out by far. The way I see it is in this deck is basically 2 Upstart Golems, because 60 card build, odds of you banishing cards that are super duper important to you playing the game are very slim. I think one time against the Chimera Branded player I played, and I banished both engages, but I ended up winning anyway. But yeah, this is a mainstay for me right now. And then Small World, I love this card. This is by far my favorite card of modern day Yu-Gi-Oh! You guys know so much about me in this card, especially with Faithful Adventure, Punk Adventure, excuse me. And I love this card. Like the bridges it does for me, where it makes my deck so much more consistent, where I can just literally just bridge into a Ray, or bridge into a Water Enchantress, or bridge into a hand trap that I may need at that point in time. Another reason why I play 60 cards. This and the Adventure package. So now moving on to the final part of the main deck, which is the Defenders. Start off with the hand traps. Triple Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, as well as triple Infinite Impermanence. These are the most generic hand traps in the game. I shouldn't have to explain these. Everybody should be playing these if you're playing hand traps. And then we're playing triple DD Crow and double Misty Dribble Swarm and 1 Magnemut. These are more sort of meta calls for Unchained and Tier, because I figured it'd be a lot of Tier even before we even saw the results of the YCS, was it Dormont? So yeah, these actually were pretty solid in the matchups they were there for, but as far as my other matchups were like Dinos, the Exorcisters, etc., these cards sucked. I'm keeping it a buck. Like this is sometimes a body. This was horrible against especially Exorcisters. It was alright against Sprite. This one was way better against Sprite, obviously, but I'm not gonna take them out though, especially with the way the format is going, where we're about to have Age of Overlord, etc. So yeah, these are fine. The only thing I would change though out of these is this would obviously be a 3rd Druid Worm, because the main reason I was playing this originally, because I was originally playing double Druid Worm, 1 Magnemut, and triple Phantasmaze just to make the deck more consistent. And then I theorized that Phantasmaze is like a 1-for-1 trade with either the Unchained trap card, which is Escape, I believe. Escape of the Unchained is also a 1-for-1 with the Soul of Rage, because they both target. But I also was afraid of running to Triple Tactics Thrust, so that's why I took that out. But yeah, this probably should be a 3rd Druid Swarm, honestly. Just help with board breaking, and it can still do its job. And then we move on to the final part of the main deck. We're playing double Triple Tactics Talents, double Triple Tactics Thrust, 1 Call By, 1 Change of Heart, excuse me, 1 Dark Hole, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Herald of the Abyss, and 1 Regeki. These I still battle back and forth about what I should have played, but honestly, this Herald Abyss came up clutch, especially in the branded matchup. Harpy's Feather Duster is just a board breaker. Same with Regeki and Dark Hole. This actually came up really clutch, especially against the Chimera branded player when he actually surprised. He actually slapped down the gimmick puppet lock, which I'm like, you're Chimera branded though. So we did was Herald Abyssing, not Herald Abyss, excuse me, Thrusting, searching for Dark Hole, and clearing the board. I am so sorry to the generator player who actually ran into all 3 of these. But for the format right now, I'm shaky on them because like against Unchained, this is horrible to play. Against Tier, basically does little to nothing. So I'm really questioning these spots, but the Change of Heart was pretty clutch. The Call by the Grave was pretty clutch, especially against the Exorcisters when they actually slapped down D-Shifter. So that was pretty clutch. My only regret is mainly about this is that I don't have a 3rd thrust, which I'm gonna talk about more heavily in the takeaways, but definitely should play a 3rd thrust. Hands down, best card in the game right now. Besides Engage, of course. Now moving on to the extra deck real quick. We're playing triple Kagari, triple Shizuku, double Hayate, 1 Kaina, 1 Azalea, and 1 Zeke. When I changed these, like I said, I was battling about the triple Hayate because I just wanted to have the 3rd Hayate for grind games, but it never really came up. It could be argued that as far as when I was in time, those 3 matches, I could have played it. But as some fact, I totally forgot I had the Kaina there, and that was just a misplay on my part. The Azalea and the Zeke. I think I'm playing either 2nd Azalea or 2nd Zeke. These were amazing this regional, especially the Azalea. That's the reason I kind of tour the deck to go towards lights and darks. So I always have the bridge from either either dark and another monster to get into Azalea, or I just have straight up go to Azalea. And this card did so much work, like popping a card on the shadow field and then popping a monster when you get in the battle phase is pretty lit. These, yeah, I probably won't change these. I just have to learn how to use my Kaina when it actually comes up. And then for the rest of the extra deck, it's you already saw the 1 Dark, the Nightmare Unicorn, the Axis Code Talker. These are pretty standard. And then the 1 Donner. This card was more so here for when I can't get into a light or dark, or to get into a Sky Striker Ace monster in general. If I just had 2 bios on the board, I could just link them away once they're different types. Turn them into Donner, use the Scrap Dragon effect, get rid of a monster on the side field, get rid of this card, and basically clear the board. Most times, most players respected it when I went into it. They were surprised it was there, but they respected it in actually infinite permanence or anything like that. And I'm like, that's fine, because now the point of it was just literally to clear my main monster zones so I actually play the game still. So honestly, that's a good card. I wouldn't change it. It didn't do me any wrong. So yeah. Moving on to the side deck. This is the part I thought was pretty saucy. Some of my choices I would change immediately just after playing that regional. 1 monster is Milu Pankratops. This came in clutch against the Dino player. He anti-spelled Milu, just summoned out the Pankratops, got rid of the monster. Same thing when I went against Sprite. Same thing where they set up anti-spell, just sent down Pankratops. Kill their Sprite red, then get rid of the anti-spell. It was pretty clutch. I honestly want to take this card out, but the way it performed, I'm questioning it. For the spells, triple Cosmic, and the 2nd Herald of the Abyss, all these came in, they were all clutch. I would not change these at all. Now, this is where it gets saucy, because the rest of the side deck is nothing but traps. Triple D Barrier, triple there can only be 1, double Destructive Rumor Cannon, and double Trap Trick. I usually would side all of these in just to go first, and then most times the Lude just easily won me games because now I'm setting up the Adventure package plus Sky Striker stuff and the back row, or it'd be Sky Striker stuff plus hand traps plus the back row, and it'll still get me there. And the main reason I want to especially focus on my normal traps and actually make it consistently see them, because with Thrust, this is basically 7, doing math right, yeah, 7 D barriers and 6 Daruma cannons, because you got the Thrust plus the Trap Trick plus the actual trap itself. But I'm honestly gonna probably take these out for something that's more impactful. I'm thinking about DDGs, because it wouldn't hurt me too much to just get banishing my monsters. It ain't the end of the world. But this was good against the DD player. I mean, not DD player, the Dino player. This is also pretty good against the Exo Sisters, but it's like those are not the meta calls. So I probably would just take this out for something else that's more impactful. But they're going to be one to hit everybody. That was a pretty good card. If I wish I just played better when I played against an Unchained player, just got my damage in and flipped this, and I would easily just won that game. But you live and you learn. So that's it for the main side and the extra. Like I said, 60 cards. Main, 15 extra, 15 side. I'm moving on to the takeaways. Okay, first and foremost, huge skill issue. This is more so on my part. 2 of my 3 losses, including my draw, were because of fumbles or misplays by me. Definitely have to practice more IRL, because most of my practicing has been either on Nexus, Dueling Book, etc. A couple times in person with Big Rail and King Phrase, but definitely to practice more in person, especially learning, and also add on to this, learning the lingo as far as when it comes to trigger effects, ignition effects, etc. Because like that sort of things I'm still weaker on, and I have to actually improve on those to actually help my gameplay as well. As far as the main deck will actually perform well. The issue was more so I really need to play 3 Triple Tactics Thrust, especially I'm apologizing especially for budget players like myself, because this card is huge in this deck. It's a bridge for the spells and the traps. And then it's also similar to Small World in this deck, where it's also a bridge for every other monster in the deck too. So it's like very important that I play 3 of that if I play this deck again. Easily one of the best board breakers in the game right now, along with Triple Tactics Talents. And then for the side deck adjustments, honestly, I'm really surprised at how well it went. I was really iffy about just siding 10 traps and no hand traps whatsoever, but it actually performed very well and worked out a lot better than I thought it would. I just would probably change the run mechanics for something else, maybe DDG or any better normal trap that's a better metal call for this format. Like I said, I'm battling with the Pancrataps. I actually really do like the Pancrataps. They did come up clutch in a couple games, but yeah, I'm really questioning what the final trap should be in as far as that. But other than that, huge shout out to all my friends and everybody who showed up there. Everybody from Eternal, the guys from Hyperion Games, Big Rail. Oh, nothing. Shout out to Carrie. He actually let me borrow his souls because I ended up selling my adventure package and my souls package, and these guys ended up coming clutch, just having everything for me. Everybody who's there and supported me. Huge shout out to GGYGO, my boy Gary. This actually was inspiration from what he played, I think, last year at the Detroit Regional. Really impressive deck. I actually have to, like I said, practice myself and show better improvement with it. And I'm probably gonna try to play a 40 card build for a tournament in the next 2 weeks. I believe there's a sneak peek at Hyperion, or either a sneak peek event at either Hyperion or Eternal Games in the next 2 weeks at the time of recording this video. So I might just play it there. But if you stay to the end of this, guys, thank you so much. Hugely appreciate it. Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about us, and we'll catch you in the next one. Referee Team Arsenal signing out. Peace and have a great day.